All right, welcome to today's Explainer. We are diving into a scenario that is literally one of the most mind-bending concepts you can imagine. We're going to explore the philosophical, psychological, and even the physical implications of absolute prescience. Basically, what happens when the veil of time is completely lifted? Think about this for a second. What if tomorrow you woke up with the ability to see every single moment of your future, from your greatest successes right down to the exact day you die? At first glance, it really might seem like the ultimate advantage, right? You could avoid bad decisions, prepare for disasters, invest wisely, and basically always know the exact right path to take. Humanity could theoretically eliminate uncertainty and make life more predictable than ever before. But as millions of people begin seeing their futures, a deeply disturbing problem emerges. If everyone already knows what's going to happen, do our choices still matter? Before we get too deep into this, if you're enjoying these mind-bending future scenarios, make sure to like this explainer, share it with a friend, and subscribe to Last Human Era for more incredible journeys into the unknown. Okay, let's dive into this. Part 1, the ultimate advantage. Just imagine moving through your life like a master chess player who already knows the entire game before making a single move. No more uncertainty, no more lying awake at night anxious about what might go wrong. You would know exactly which career path actually leads to fulfillment, which investments guarantee you wealth, and precisely when to duck to avoid a literal disaster. It feels like the ultimate superpower, doesn't it? Giving you absolute perfect precision in literally every choice you make. And humanity is actually chasing a version of this power right now. Through predictive AI, organizations are using statistical analysis and machine learning to crunch massive data sets. They aren't staring into a crystal ball. They're using advanced algorithms to predict things like customer churn, supply chain disruptions, and even mechanical failures well before they ever happen. We are desperately trying to build systems that eliminate the unknown to produce reliable, accurate forecasts that optimize our world. But science has actually been dreaming of this way longer than modern AI has even existed. Way back in 1814, the scholar Pierre-Simon Laplace articulated the ultimate theoretical version of this idea, which he called Laplace's demon. He proposed that if an intellect, a demon, knew the precise location and momentum of every single particle in the universe and had the vast computational power to analyze it all, it could perfectly calculate the past and the future. So for this intellect, absolutely nothing would be uncertain. The future would basically just be the present, laid completely bare. Now, what's really interesting about this is what happens next. Part 2, the illusion of choice. This whole concept brings us to a massive logical nightmare, which is often explored in thought experiments like Newcomb's problem. Walk through this with me for a second. Say you see a clear vision of your future. You're going to get into a car accident next Tuesday. So, naturally, you take action. You stay home on Tuesday to avoid it. But wait, if you avoided it, then the future you originally saw was invalidated, right? And if it was invalidated, did you ever truly see the actual future at all? It's a massive paradox. If you can change the future, you never saw the true future. But if you cannot change it, then every action you take isn't a real choice. It's just a confirmation of a script you're forced to play out. This paradox is grounded really deeply in the philosophy of time, specifically an ontological view known as eternalism, or the block universe. In this view, time doesn't actually flow like a river. Instead, the past, the present, and the future are all equally real and exist simultaneously, kind of like different coordinates on a map. If eternalism is true, the future is already rigidly written, meaning our feeling of moving through time and making free choices is, well, basically an illusion. So we can see the friction here perfectly. On one side, we have eternalism, where the future is a set, unchangeable script. But on the other side, we have what philosophers call the open future. The open future suggests that the future is totally indeterminate, meaning propositions about tomorrow literally aren't true or false yet. They only become true or false when time actually passes and we make our choices. The catch here is that seeing the future perfectly requires eternalism to be true, which completely crushes the open future and human agency right along with it. If we're just playing out a predetermined script, the psychological impact is honestly devastating. The molecular biologist Jacques Monod perfectly captured the profound existential dread of a deterministic universe. He wrote that realizing we are essentially automatons in a mechanical universe leaves us in total solitude. We become like gypsies, living on the boundary of an alien and different world. The thrill of life just fades away when the story is already finished. Which leads us to the emotional toll. Part 3. The Cassandra Curse. To really understand this burden, we have to look to the Greek myth of Cassandra. She was given the gift of perfect prophecy by the god Apollo, but when she rejected him, he cursed her. She would always see the future perfectly, but she was doomed to never, ever be believed by anyone. Cassandra perfectly personifies the immense psychological suffering of seeing a dark, unavoidable future that everyone else just blissfully ignores.
And psychologists have actually applied this exact metaphor to real human behavior. The psychoanalyst Melanie Klein argued that Cassandra represents our moral conscience, issuing warnings of grief that others violently deny. Another psychologist, Jean Shinoda Bolen, noted that having a Cassandra complex creates severe emotional distance. Think about it. If you know exactly how everything turns out, you lose the ability to be truly intimate. You become a distant observer of humanity, paralyzed by the anticipation of inescapable grief, and potentially driven to hysteria simply because you cannot share the reality of what's coming.
So I have to ask you this poignant question. Would you still love the same way if you knew exactly how and when the relationship would end? Even relationships could change forever as people discover future betrayals, friendships, and heartbreaks long before they ever happen. That knowledge would follow you into every present moment. It would literally turn genuine joy into something fragile, completely overshadowed by the absolute certainty of the pain that's eventually coming. And this brilliantly illustrates our next point. Part 4. A world without mystery. As society adapts to this, some people may become utterly obsessed with changing their destinies, while others just lose motivation completely because they already know the outcome of their lives. Just look at the financial markets. They are built entirely on managing risk. If people can predict every single market movement, entire economies might literally collapse overnight. Innovation and science would totally stagnate because the whole driving force of discovery is the thrill of the unknown. And governments or corporations, they could use this future knowledge to gain unimaginable power and totalitarian control, neutralizing threats before they even materialize. So the crucial takeaway here is that a world of infallible predictors logically forbids free will entirely. Whether we're looking at the grandfather paradox in time travel or Newcomb's problem in game theory, any decision matrix completely breaks down when every player already knows the other player's move. Society just becomes a frozen, predetermined museum exhibit rather than a living, breathing ecosystem. Let's move on and see how this builds to our conclusion. Part 5. The gift of uncertainty. The truth is, we desperately need the unknown. If you remove every mistake, every struggle, and every unexpected twist, you remove the very things that shape who you are. Personal growth doesn't come from following a guaranteed script. It comes from getting it wrong, adapting, and navigating the world without any guarantees. Uncertainty is what forces us to be present in the moment. It's the risk-taking that gives our choices deep, genuine emotional weight. And you know, this isn't just poetry, it's actual physics. The Nobel laureate Ilya Pregogin's work on thermodynamics and the arrow of time shows that time's one-way direction, along with its inherent randomness and irreversibility, well, they aren't illusions. They are the essential physical ingredients for self-organization and complex life. As the poet Paul Valery said, time is construction. The future is not a predetermined destination waiting to be seen. It's something we are actively building with every single uncertain step we take. The more humanity relies on future vision, the more we may lose the excitement, mystery, and purpose that come from not knowing what lies ahead. In the end, seeing the future could solve countless problems, for sure, but it might also rob humanity of the very thing that makes life meaningful, the unknown. So if you were given one chance to see your entire future right now, would you look, or would you choose to remain in the dark? Let me know in the comments below. And if these future possibilities fascinate you, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe, because every week we explore the most incredible futures humanity may face. Thanks.